Like everyone else, I love long-term career mode saves, but sometimes you just want to do things a little bit quicker. It might be a one-season blitz for the title or saving a team from relegation. Sometimes the single-season saves are straight up superior. For this video, I'm counting any save that you should finish in under 2 seasons to be a short-term save. But of course, you can always continue any of these ideas and slow things down if you're not into speedrunning the game. So let's begin with our first save idea. And everyone on earth knows that Arsenal are back to being one of the best teams in the world, but it's hard to compare them to their greatest ever side from 20 years ago. Of course, that team did one of the most impressive things possible and went a full league season without losing a single game. And I think with a few additions, this Arsenal team is capable of doing the same thing on FIFA. While Arsene Wenger had Alex Ferguson to try and stop his streak, you'll be fighting against Pep Guardiola, and as long as you don't lose in your games against Man City, I think you could develop this team and go unbeaten in under 2 seasons. Don't forget that things are way harder now than they were in 2004. That season, Arsenal finished with 90 points when they won the league unbeaten, and that would have only won the league in 2 of the past 8 seasons in the Premier League. Because Arsenal are so close to being the best team on FIFA, it shouldn't take too much for you to become invincible. You could possibly still use a striker, because I'm not convinced that you'll be able to score in almost every game with Trossard and Havertz, but every other part of the team is absolutely ideal. You have a young or high potential player in every position, you have pace on the wings, you can also score pretty good finesse shots with Saka and Martinelli, you have 2 rapid centre backs who are very high rated, so the AI won't be able to run in behind, and basically every combination of midfielders that you can put on the pitch can tackle, run and score. In fact, Thomas Partey and Leandro Trossard are the only 2 players in the starting 11 that don't still have potential to improve. This Arsenal team has been built absolutely amazing, and especially if you compare it to what they had about 5 or 6 years ago. If you want a really short-term save with an interesting club, then surely going invincible with the modern Arsenal team has to be the save that you want to try. Okay, so let's move from the team in red that plays in England's capital to the team in red that plays in Italy's capital. And it's crazy to think that Roma had a squad just a few years ago with Totti, De Rossi, Salah, Alisson, Rudiger and Nangolan, but still didn't win the title in 2016. In fact, they haven't won the league since 2001, which you won't need me to remind you is a long time ago. There's been dozens of managers at Roma since then. Jose Mourinho, Ranieri, Capello and many more have tried, but none of them could get Roma a 4th league title. Of course, there is the issue of licensing in Serie A, which I do think puts a lot of people off playing in Italy. But Roma are a licensed club again on FC25. In fact, if you can look past the missing Milan teams, I think Serie A has a couple of really good, fun, short saves. I'll talk about another one towards the end of this video, but I think trying to win a title with Roma in under 2 seasons sounds pretty good. The club has a really interesting history, they're from a very interesting nation and city, and they try and play a different formation to basically every other team in the game. Their squad is also full of really good players. Your squad is actually the 3rd best in the league. It's equal with Juventus and Napoli and only a couple of overall behind AC Milan and Inter Milan. It won't actually take too much rebuilding to overtake these 2 teams and become the best club in Italy. And that's why I think you can do this in under 2 seasons and finally be the person to win that elusive 4th title for AS Roma. Okay, so we're going to have to head way out of Europe for this next save idea, to one of the few non-European clubs to have ever won a quadruple. That's right, East Bengal won a quadruple in 1991 and 1996. This isn't actually possible to do on FIFA at the moment because there's only one Indian Cup competition, but you can still try to take a mid-table Indian Super League side and win the title for the first time in their history. There's precedent to them winning something recently too, because East Bengal won the Super Cup, and that means you're playing in the Asian Champions League in Season 1. The Super Cup isn't the same as the title, and that's why I'm saying East Bengal have never actually won one. The Indian Super League is one of the newest leagues in the world, and East Bengal have never actually won this iteration of the best division in India. Of course, no Indian team has also ever won the Asian Champions League either, so there's always room to extend this save if you are enjoying playing in India. I can't say that I've ever seen too many people pick the Indian League on FIFA, but if you don't care about using players you've heard of, I think the Indian League could be the perfect place to do a short save. I can't see this being the most popular save that I've talked about in this video, but it could possibly be the most fun. If you give it a go, let me know how it goes in the comments here, because I'm actually interested to see if anyone does give this save a go. Okay, so we're heading back to Europe, and we're also going to be talking about a save where you have to get a club back to a league they used to be in. I guess some people watching this video might not even know that Charlton were a decent Premier League team for quite a while. This save idea is all about getting them back to where they were in just a couple of seasons. If you build right in League One, it is more than possible to achieve back-to-back promotions. I mean, just ask Ipswich Town, who are of course in the Premier League this year. It's quite hard for me to believe that it's been 20 years since Charlton were last in the Premier League. Back then, Charlton even drew a match against the invincible Arsenal team we mentioned earlier, and with Alan Kirbishley as the manager, they finished 7th in the Premier League that season, just 3 points off playing in Europe. Now, that could end up to be the goal for your save, but of course that would probably break the 2-season limit that I've given myself for this video. Instead, I think the goal is to try and finish in the Championship playoffs by the end of Season 2. Certainly, Charlton Athletic are in need of a manager who can give them some stability. They've had a bunch of owners that have made huge promises but not actually kept them, and I think the fans do deserve better. I mean, during one game, the fans protested by throwing plastic pigs onto the field. In another game, one of their owners went onto the pitch with an electric guitar and played a guitar solo before a match. The club has also gone through 6 changes with their manager since 2021, so getting promotion under you would be huge for Charlton Athletic. Eventually, you'll probably be able to build them to a similar size to someone like Brentford, who also went through a similar rise by signing talented young players from the lower leagues and selling them for huge amounts of money. Maybe you could buy Shrewsbury's Tom Bloxham and he could be your Ivan Toney, and you could combine him with Miles Leaburn, who could be your Ollie Watkins. It shouldn't be the longest save you ever do, but you can always extend it if you're having fun. If you're not enjoying it, you can be happy to know you brought a struggling club back to the level they belong at, while also using a team you might never have used or paid any attention to before. Now, to end this video, I suppose we're going to talk about a team that's kinda similar to the Roma one. As I said before, there is some really good saves in Serie A, but Genoa are the ones I picked because they've gone over 100 years without winning Serie A and nearly 90 years without winning the Italian Cup. For this save, I'd recommend you try and target one of these 2 competitions and win it as soon as possible. Serie A might be tough until season 3 or 4, but if you revert back to the deep defensive Italian football of the 80s, surely you have a decent chance of scraping a cup final in your first year. If you can't win a trophy in a couple of seasons, then maybe it is time that the Genoa Cricket and Football Club gives up football and just goes back to playing cricket. Genoa actually have a surprisingly talented squad despite being the 3rd lowest rated team in the league. I think they have enough potential to overtake Como and Monza, and possibly even Torino, to become a fairly good mid-table team without you even signing a single player. If you can moneyball in some cheap defenders, I don't see why a cup run wouldn't be possible straight away. If you're not feeling the defensive football I mentioned earlier, you could always look at a couple of their former managers, Gianpiero Gasparini and Alberto Gilardino, who both favoured much more attacking football when they were managing at Genoa. Just a little bit of context here as well. If you do go for the league and manage to win Serie A, you'll be putting a star above Genoa's badge by ending a century-long wait by delivering their 10th Serie A title. In fact, only 3 teams in Italy have earned stars on their badges: Juventus, Inter and AC Milan, so Genoa are on the cusp of joining a very, very illustrious club. Of course, stars are given for winning 10 Italian titles, and it would be a shame this isn't added on the kit in FIFA, but it's still fun to know you were the one to finally complete the star that Genoa have been hunting for almost an entire century. Again, it won't be the longest save you ever do, but you can keep going if you're enjoying your rebuild. Hopefully you enjoyed at least one of the 5 saves I talked about in today's video. I know that I can't wait to try some of them when I finish the 2 saves I'm already playing and recording for YouTube videos, but anyway, leave some comments with short save ideas that I've missed in the comments below, and if there's a lot of really good ones, I might make a sequel to this video. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you soon, and thank you for watching. Cheers and goodbye.